Welcome! So this morning I had you guys help me prep all of my stuff for Thanksgiving, and I have been cooking pretty much the whole day. I've made, I thought about recording the whole day because I knew I was going to be busy the whole day. So let's see. You guys get to see all my disaster. Cranberry orange. This is a bread. I packed all my bread pans, so this is a cake pan. Winter wants cheesecake. I have everything sitting here ready to make that, and I physically can't make it. I'm about to do my rolls. I am sauteing mushrooms at this very minute and onions for my green bean casserole. And I make my own like green bean casserole soup. And then I have my mirepoix from this morning collected. That is for my dressing. But since I'm like in massive multitasking, oh, and my pumpkin pie is already in the oven. I've made, I made a cheese, instead of a cheese ball, I made a cheese log. Let's see what other things. My cranberry sauce. It's here. I made that earlier. Let's see what other things I've accomplished since I talked to you. My dishes. Oh, those are done. Winter made my bathroom immaculate. Willow has cleaned most of her bedroom. Max cleaned the living room. What else have I done? Oh, I wanted to tell you guys, even though no one's here and no one will hear, I was talking about my turkey I bought earlier and how I bought it through Meijer, and I thought that it had discounted cheaper than the original price. Oh, it's at the very top. I remember. So, while I was at Meijer yesterday, they had turkeys for 44 cents a pound or something like that. And it was $7.94 on the tag. Not even joking. It was an additional, because I use my M-Perks at Meijer, an additional 33% off. It took an additional $2.62 off my turkey. So my 16-pound turkey cost me $5.32. $5.32. Can you believe that? I was like, absolutely, that was, I would say, the best deal of the day for Thanksgiving shopping. So my massive shopping list, and I still just can't even, I paid more for my mushrooms. Oh, they were on discount too. They were $5 something. But my turkey, what did I say? $7.94 is how much it was tagged for. It had, because I used my M-Perks, an additional 33% off, which was $2.62 off of that $7.94. So that was only $5.32. That like blew my mind. My eggs cost more than that. And cow, the supplies for my pies cost more than that. So there isn't one thing, like I said, that it blew my mind. I mean, for heaven's sake, it blew my mind. Blew my mind. So what I'm doing right now, because I'm prepping everything for Thanksgiving, I just thought I would give you guys the what's up on how much I paid for that turkey. I was like, that's the first time I've had something economical this year. The first time. Well, I got 50 cents off when I was shopping at Kroger one day on my gas. And so one time I got gas for $2.62 this year. So I thought that was a good deal. But like, I got a 16-pound turkey for $5.32 is what I said. Blowing my mind. All right. So I showed you my cranberry sauce. That was cooling. I'm currently, show you my mushrooms. Oops, I can't tip. I'm sauteing my mushrooms and onions, and I'm making my own mushroom, like cream of mushroom soup. I'm not really making soup. I'm making cream of mushroom sauce to put my then green bean casserole into, and I just like to do my own. So in this pan is butter, olive oil, mushrooms, onions, garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, salt. And I'm going to cook that until it's reduced down. Hi, Becca. What would you like, pretty kitty? They're not going to let you in. I'm not going to do it. And because I'm multitasking, I have a pie in the oven, my pumpkin pie in the oven. And then here's my 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt tossed in the middle. And in this crazy concoction, it is 2 cups of water, warmed to 110 degrees, 2 packets of yeast, and then I put in like a couple tablespoons of olive oil and 2 eggs. And like 4 tablespoons of sugar. So this is going to be my rolls, and I hype. So my pizza dough is 2 cups of flour, 1 packet of yeast, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar, and a tablespoon of oil. So I was doubling that, but I also added egg to it, and then I will be putting extra flour in. But I always start, and I don't need this a ton. I really just kind of let it be what it is. And so all my ingredients, I just kind of stir. I find that I'm kind of making more, I guess, like a challah bread. It's not the recipe for challah bread. Honestly, it's my pizza dough recipe, and I added eggs to it because I wanted it to be more like a challah. I was hoping it would help add airiness. So I know that my 4 cups of flour wasn't enough, but it was enough to get me going. And I'm moving kind of slow. Ignore that I have a pile of mess behind me. I am probably doing a majority of my cleaning first thing in the morning. I'm a terrible cleaner. I've been procrastinating it all day. I'm glad that my kids worked on it, but I didn't. No, I did. I did the dishes. I already admitted that. Alright, so this is how my mushroom and onions are going, and I'm just cooking them. I don't want them to cook super fast. I don't want my onions to like be collapsing. That fit them really well with food. I want them to be like translucent, and I want my mushrooms to be nice and cooked through. And I don't want anything to get dark and burned, so they're just kind of nicely cooking here. All right, I gotta add a little more. We're gonna turn on the sink because as soon as I shove my hands in this dough to knead it, I'm going to be a dough mess. So I'm probably gonna put another cup. I honestly barely. I have like a basic recipe I follow, and then I make slow changes to that basic recipe for my dough. Just because that's the kind of way I am. And I went away from my spatula now, and I'm going to knead in that next cup of flour into, like, it was so fluffy and airy. And what I'm going to accomplish is we're going to make, I don't know, some biscuits. I don't know how, or rolls. I don't know how many rolls. I usually just fly by the seat of my pants. It's not an exact measurement. Yeah, I'm wasting a lot of water, but I don't want to touch my sink when I go to, I don't want to have dough all over my faucet. So, we're just doing it that way. I had pulled things out. I caused a collapse. Alright, we flipped. And I think I have, that was the perfect amount of dough. So, yeah. And yes, there's some flour still in there. I'm gonna like kind of toss it around. It's very sticky, but I sort of want it to be sticky, and then I'm going to I'm going to switch to the other pan that's like I just shoved, my sleeve fell down, and I just got dough all over my sleeve, the inside of my sleeve. Shoot, 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 shoot. Now I'm dirty. Oh. All right. So in pan, the spitting image, I'm going to pour a little oil on the bottom of my pan or my bowl, and then we're gonna let my fingers get a little oily. It will keep the dough from sticking to my hand. And then I'm going to kind of give it a baby toss in the oil. Make it into a nice little ball. And then we're gonna leave it to rise. Yeah, I just said I turned on my thing so I wouldn't get stuff all over my handle. And then I had oil all over my handle of my sink. That's what I was trying to avoid. All right, so my dirty pan now. Back good girl. Stop meowing at me. All right, so that I'm gonna cover. I'm gonna set over next to warmth. I gotta check my pie. A little longer. It's getting really close. oh my gosh, yeah, I'm a mess. Honestly, all I did was put my hair in a ponytail. I didn't even brush my hair today, and I've been cooking the whole day, so that's just how my day went. So I appreciate anyone that does come and watch. Thanks so much. All right, my dough is rising now to make my rolls. And this is what I got going on. We're about to tuck my green bean casserole into the next layer. So with the liquid, after the butter and everything's in here, I add about a little less than a half a cup of flour. And there is oil, and maybe I'll add just a tad bit more oil. Becca, what do you need, girl? So I'm going to make a roux in this pan so that I can get a cream sauce made. So what you do is you use your fat. Always, 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 always. The biggest secret in roux making is, I just bought this one. They were out of my favorite brand, so, Meyer doesn't carry my favorite brand. And so what I do is I just I don't measure. I sprinkle, because it's kind of got like an oiliness to it, and sometimes if it goes into a liquid, it will sit up on top of it. But that will just add like richness to it. So I add it into like the oil layer. And now I'm going to add flour into my oil and my mushrooms and onion mix. Eventually, my plan will be to have a tripod where you can see. So now we got our roux added in, and we just kind of stir it and make sure it kind of makes like a paste. And let's see if I can. No, I can't. I gotta give it a stir. I can't one-hand stir. My pan was sliding around. Alright, so what we do now is we're gonna make, it kind of turns into a really disgusting paste. I know, somebody shows up and they're like, a disgusting paste. So now it's like mushrooms, onions, and my oils, and my garlic and onion powder, and flour. And they're just going to kind of sit here, and it's got to start to get bubbly. It looks really disgusting right now. I admit it. Sorry, you guys got to listen to that. So what I'm going to do is drop everything, or let that start to sizzle. And then once that gets going, then I'm going to add milk to it. And then it's going to make like a cream for it. And then I'm going to put together my green bean casserole. I'm using canned green beans. These are like controversial conversations about green bean casserole. But some people really like their green bean casserole to be fresh green beans. I do not like that texture. I don't like squeaky green beans in between my teeth, and it makes me feel like heebie-jeebie-ish. So I am using canned green beans, and I'm not doing a excessive amount, so I will probably add my sauce to the green beans, and then maybe save some of that like cream of mushroom sauce for maybe a meal later in the week. So give me 1 minute to toss my junk and get my milk. You need outside milk stuff? There you go. There you go, Katie. I also a lot of times use half and half when I'm in this step, but I'm gonna do milk, and you can do anything you want. It depends on how like rich you want it to be or how creamy. I'm just adding milk because it's not gonna make that much of a difference. All right, looks like it's combined. I was almost finished with that gallon. And I add, how I do roux is after I do the flour and the fat, whatever, whether you're doing oil or butter, I then add my liquid, and I add it in stages. Do not add it all in one huge pour. The light over my head is making me, I have like dark brown hair, making me not, I have gray hair because I'm an old lady. Anyways, so you add like a little bit of cream at a time, or milk, or any dairy that you, let's see if I can get it right, that you choose. And you only add a little bit. I am going to keep adding it, but what I want to do is I want the first amount to get mixed in. Like you want to add your first, if you want to add liquid, mix it, get that combined, and then add your next amount. Usually for roux, how it goes is for every, pretty sure it's like for every half cup of oil or fat, you do an equal amount of flour and then whatever other ingredients you're putting in that. And then you're doing to 2 cups of your liquid, whether it's chicken broth, whether it's cream, milk, whatever it is. But you only add a little at a time. So I'm not measuring. I'm completely I fly by the seat of my pants. Hello, I'm making Thanksgiving dinner. Well, getting my Thanksgiving dinner mostly prepped, so I have very little work to do tomorrow. So what I have going on is I am making green bean casserole right now. The green bean casserole I'm doing scratch, so I have my cream of mushroom soup mix going. So I did mushrooms and onions with garlic powder, onion, and then real onions and baby bella mushrooms. And I just cook these, and did I say butter and oil? Okay, and you saute them until they've cooked to the temperature or to the texture you want them. Like your onions translucent and your onion or your mushrooms cooked through. And then after you add your flour and it gets it all thick with your oils, then you slowly add a liquid. Now you want your liquid to almost heat back up to a boil. I'm using a cream or a milk, and that scalds and will cause a film. So with milk products, you really want to not boil. I don't know how else to say it. You just want it to come to like, you want it to be steaming hot, but if you bring it to like a complete utter boil, it might not scald now. I mean, mostly just milk scalds when it's fresh, and I guess it's going to be thickening in a roux, so we are going to let it bubble, but it can split, and we don't want it to separate. So sometimes if you get your milk cooked too long, it will separate from itself just a little. So we're heating the milk in my onions, mushrooms, garlic powder, onion powder, and then I cooked those in butter and olive oil, and then I added flour to that saute, made the oils all thicken up, all thick and kind of like pasty, and then once that's kind of done that, your pasty roux material should bubble. Because you want your flour to sort of start cooking. And then, I'm gonna have a kid. We're going to add. I don't want an audience, and I don't even think I have an audience here. Nope, I'm just talking, so you can do as you wish. But I still talk during, even if there's no one around. I'm gonna do my normal because it records my video. And then I can have that posted. Yeah. All right, my cream, my milk, or my cream mushroom soup, my homemade cream mushroom soup is thickening right up. And I like to see what happens when it boils or starts to bubble, just because you can get a better idea of how thick it's gonna be. And then I know how much more liquid to add. And then we're gonna add, I don't want it to be like turn into, I don't want it to be jellyish. So like I want it to stay creamy because I want to put together my green bean casserole tonight, and when I bake it, I don't want my cream of mushroom soup material to gelatinous. I don't know how else to explain. If it doesn't have enough moisture in your like roux, or in your like bechamel, if you don't have enough liquid in it, it gets like, I don't know, thick and kind of like, it's not as good as when it's creamy. So I want to keep it liquidy some on the liquidy side because it is going to go in the oven tomorrow and finish its baking. I gotta check my pie. Give me 1 minute. Don't know where my oven mitts went. Actually, I know there's one in my dryer. Pull out this pie and kind of give it a check. Sort of jiggle. Jiggle, jiggle. The craziest thing is that my crust isn't that dark. I don't like that. I'm going to turn up my temperature just a little. So, I'm being hopeful. Alright, how's my dough doing? It's almost half the size it was. Alright. Ooh, my sauce is getting a little more thick. So I'm going to keep stirring the sauce until I know exactly, or until it's thick enough and starts to become just a little bit thick. You can kind of get an idea. They say that you know your sauce is the right thickness when it's like creamy on your pan and you rub your finger down it and it stays. So I'm supposed to believe that that is correct. But it looks sort of watery, so I might just think it might be on my spoon that it's just extra thick. And I'm going to give it an extra second. This is the kind of way when I screw myself over. So it's coming together. So currently right now I have the pie I was checking is my pumpkin pie. And with that pumpkin pie, I'm also doing a cherry lattice pie I bought. Thank you, Marie Calendar. Because I have so many other things. And I made like orange cranberry cake, or it's supposed to be bread. We'll just say it's orange cranberry cake. And then I made a pumpkin pie. I made my own crust too, so it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. But I like to try. Oh, my sauce is thickening, starting to thicken perfectly. So we're going to give it, just being patient. So that's all you can do is just be patient. And you want it to start bubbling because a roux, like a cream or a flour fat content, when it starts to cook and then you add your liquids, if your liquid isn't already hot, if it will not thicken until it comes to a boil. So it's sort of like how cornstarch, I don't know if you even know that, so how cornstarch thickens in heat, becomes like a thick jelly. So like more like that. So you just kind of have to keep your eye on it. And I can see that it's starting to leave marks in the pan when I stir. So the whole idea here is that I'm making, instead of using a can of cream of mushroom soup, I am making my own version of that. So that my green bean casserole is what I want it to be. Because I told you I'm using canned green beans, and so when you use canned green beans, it's like, people are like, it's great canned green beans. I understand that. But having it have all of your own ingredients, like the mushrooms and onions, and making your own little roux, and your own like bechamel, like my mushroom cream sauce or whatever, it is well worth it. So that's sort of what I did. Is I made like a mushroom cream sauce for my cream of mushroom, or for my green bean casserole. And I'm going to put it mostly together. I am going to make it so, of course, it can be stirred. So my fried onions, which I said I told earlier that many of times in the past I have fried my onions too to make for my green bean casserole, but this year I saw them on sale, so I bought them. And what I'm doing now is just making sure that when my sauce gets thick, that it doesn't have like that solidification that I was talking about that I don't want. I want it to be like jelly. I want it to still maintain like its sauciness. It's like when that does happen, when you're cooking and you eat your whole meal and then you go to get leftovers later, or you like you come back and you're like, oh, I really want some of that tomorrow, and it's a little too thick, you can always mix a little milk into it to loosen it up. But I really wanted to have my casserole mostly built. So that is what we are working for. And I do excessive mushrooms. So like I don't do like you buy I think green bean or canned green cream of mushroom soup and it's got like 3 mushrooms in it. I really like mushrooms and I have a huge mushroom loving family. So it makes me hungry. So this is where we're at. Nice. And you can see that it's starting to thicken by the way that that happens. And I do think that it's actually way thicker on the spatula than it was the first time. So, see how it stays so well? I don't know if you could. I don't know if I lifted up high enough. Sorry, I showed my garbage. I've had the bag pulled out because I am not taking my trash to the bottom of the driveway. It's freaking freezing here in Michigan. I am cold. So I avoid at all costs. After I finish this, I'm going to be starting my mirepoix and sausage for my dressing. And that is my favorite meal or side for Thanksgiving. I guess it's my favorite dish in general is dressing. So I like green bean casserole, I like dressing. Thanksgiving is my favorite. I always love it. So, oh, my sauce is coming out beautifully. All right, we're going to look at it and give it a second more. All right. I think my sauce turned out fantastic. It hasn't started to bubble yet. So it isn't all the way to heat hot. So I actually think it's going to be a little bit too thick and that I probably should just add a splash more liquid just because it hasn't started bubbling and it's already pretty darn thick. I'm not going to have room in my fridge to put all my food. I already started filling it. So what have I made so far? This morning, I think I spent like 2 hours prepping vegetables. So I prepped all the vegetables that I used throughout the day. I also, here's some orange zest where I zested 5 oranges because I use orange zest in my cranberry sauce and some orange juice. And I also used it in my orange and cranberry bread. Yeah, I said bread, and I have it in a cake pan, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm thinking that maybe I might drizzle a glaze on it tomorrow to make it seem more like dessert-ish. And then hidden here, getting cool, is cranberry sauce. This is fresh cranberries, sugar, orange juice, orange zest, a dash of salt, and like a bunch of sugar. And you cook. And then at the very end, after it's already kind of turned into like a cranberry jelly, I add some dried cranberries in a little water and boil it a little longer because then it adds like extra, it adds a little extra something to my cranberry sauce. So I also made deviled eggs. I did because I made a cheese ball or a cheese like log. Also, I needed ham and green onions and cheese for that. I saved some of the ham and green onions and used them in my deviled eggs. So I am very excited to. I ate some of the beginning tastes of it, like when I was doing the filling. I got some on my finger and I licked it off and tasted it. But I didn't touch anything else afterwards. Alright, so my sauce, right before I went and put the milk away, I added a splash more milk. And now my sauce is pretty much, that's where I want it. So, for green bean casserole, I'm going to use my medium size. This is my grandmother's. One of them, this one has the design on it. And so I don't know what I'm bringing in that pan. In this pan, it's going to be a green bean casserole. And then in my tiny pan, I might do like sweet potato yam thing. I haven't decided. It's kind of like one of those things, like I have the stuff to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to. I kind of like pick all the most important things and make sure that I'm accomplishing those first. Tomorrow I'm doing the turkey and the mashed potatoes. I'm not even doing anything for those until tomorrow. My turkey is thawing I am not putting it in a brine. I do a ton of prep with it in the morning of. And when I was young, I used to put like a bag inside of a 5 gallon bucket and put my turkey in it and add a bunch of salt and citrus and flavors and onion and let it sit. But I don't have the fridge space for such things, and it's not quite cold enough outside to put it out in the camper or something and have it stay cold. So I am just not brining, and I am doing it in a roasting pan. So it is going to cook extremely fast because roasting pans cook so fast. At least my mom's roasting pan, it cooks so fast, which I have to wash. I guess I'll wash it in the morning. So I have that to wash. All right, my green bean casserole, pretty much, this is my sauce. Like I said, I want it to be on like the edge of thickness because I don't want it to like be extra thick because I still have to bake it and it's gonna get cooked more and reduce some of the more of the moisture out. I gotta grab my green beans. Also let back in my cat. Told you I was doing cans. So my pantry is on the other side of the room and I wasn't taking you along. So anyone watching my debris in the back, welcome to the mess. All right. Can't decide if I want to. I think that I'm gonna have green beans or cream of mushroom soup mix or my cream of mushroom sauce. I think I'm gonna have more of that than I need for the green beans. So, like I said, I think I might save part of that sauce. So, I'm gonna put it right into the pan. Nothing special. My flavor is all in the seasoning or in my soup mix that I had made. So I created my own cream of mushroom mix with, I sauteed mushrooms and onions with butter and olive oil, and then some garlic and onion powder and salt and pepper. And then you cook it until it's to the right where your onions are translucent and your mushrooms are cooked completely. And then you make sure that there's enough fat, like oil or butter. If you feel like your mushrooms absorbed a bunch of it, add more oil so that there's oil on the bottom of your pan. And then I add about a half cup scoop of flour. And then I also, during this step, add chicken base, which is like dehydrated chicken broth. I don't know how else to explain it. So while I do that, it adds that little bit extra flavor. And then I taste test to make sure it's the taste I want it to be. Because I can't change its taste afterwards. Okay, I think I need a little more onion powder. And then just a dash of salt. And my salt shaker's in the others. My husband took it to his room. His room. That's where he plays video games, so it's not like it's his own bedroom. All right. I'm going to taste it again. And I want it to be the flavor that I want my green bean casserole to taste like. I used a different finger each dip, just in case anyone's watching. If no one's watching, then it doesn't matter. And no one needs to know. All right. Now I'm going to pour part of it in. Give it a stir to see if it's enough. And it was not, so we're going to add more. Just because I do want it to be slightly saucy. I don't want it to be like dry but I don't want it to be all like green or all like soup either. So I want it to be like equal both parts. Oh, I think I did pretty good actually. It has I have a little bit too much mushroom soup, but I guess it's just the way the cookie crumbles. And I'm putting it all in. I'm going all in. All right. So this is what it looks like. So that is onions, mushrooms, sauteed with onion powder, garlic powder, and then I added some flour to make a roux with that fat content, and then I added flour to that, or I said that already, and then I added milk. I didn't do cream or anything like spectacular. I literally did milk because I'm being economical. I want my half and half for my coffee. And I want to use this same pan for my next side, so it's my favorite, so I am going to use the same one. I'm sleep. I won't stay up. I bought like my sweater like 3 sizes too big. I bought the biggest size that they carried of it. Oh, my pie's probably finished now. I almost forgot. I don't want to forget. I don't have a timer set. Alright. Clean pan. The next stuff is coming out. I'm going to pull out my pie. I think it says if it's still jiggly, then it's perfect. I just didn't think my crust looked done. So we're going to handle doesn't want to get pulled. Oh, I do not think it's done yet. It shows it's jiggly. It shows slightly jiggly, but it's not. I don't think it's quite jiggly enough. I need butter. Oops, I forgot the sausage. Go again and again and again. You're like, how many times are you going to disappear from here? Every time someone shows up, I'm gone. Okay, so I'm going to check how my dough is going. I'll give you a little peek at it. It is nice. It's got a little bit higher to go. I like to almost hit the edge. Do you need outside now before I start handling things? All right. So I have veggies, or I have my butter melting. So this, I spilled water. I'm like, why are my feet sticking to the ground? Oh. All right. So this is just going to sit off to the side. I guess I'll put this side. Actually, don't really have counter space off that side. So I am melting butter, and I'm going to put sage breakfast sausage. Or sorry, not breakfast sausage, but sage sausage from Bob Evans. I don't really think it's like the breakfast sausage, but it's sage flavored, or like the sage version. I like that version because it adds exactly the seasoning, like the sage seasoning, that I think goes perfect with the rest of everything else. Alright. And I am prepping all of my food for Thanksgiving tomorrow. If anyone's here, I try to say things and repeat them over and over because I know that different people keep popping in. I'm gonna put water on my rinse my pans from my other meal. Alright, so this pan now I'm starting my dressing. So dressing is my favorite, so this has the most care for me. I already spent forever chopping a big pile of vegetables. I gotta peek at my dog. She's looking at a cat. I can tell by the way she's doing it. Luna, stop. Come, now. Stop barking. Is there a kitten in there? Is there a kitten in there? It'll be nice. Stop barking at those babies. Alright. Oh my gosh, the dog is gonna freeze me because I don't have my heater on because it's too noisy in this area of my house. So, I know like what area we don't have. We have floor heaters through the house, and the one in here I can't run at the same time that I run my little tiny oven because I'm a superhero and my actual stove is broken, and so I have no stove, no oven, and I am gonna make my whole Thanksgiving dinner in no oven. Did I shut this off? Why does it feel like it's so not getting temperature? I feel like my pan or my burner is not hot. So tomorrow I'm going to, I'm not even using the stove. I'm using the Instant Pot to make my mashed potatoes tomorrow. And I'm using a roasting pan to do my turkey. And then everything else will already have been accomplished. And I just have to cook it. And then like I talked about earlier, I'm going to pull it down because I'm very excited. I bought an electric warming tray, and it's literally like a silicone pad, and it can get really warm. So I'm excited to be able to keep food hot once I like heat it in the oven. So I'm excited for that stage. Like pull the green bean casserole out of the oven, and when I put it away, or when I put it over here, I just can put it on a heating pad and it will stay heating. I have to la. All right, yay! Fixing my hair on camera. I like if maybe if I turned like this, I'd be like, yeah. Terrifying. Cooking right now. I'm making. Oh, see, that's way better. The door being open is better. Anyways, I'm doing green bean casserole right now. Or I already finished my green bean casserole. Sitting here waiting. I am doing dressing next. So I'm getting all my Thanksgiving dinner prepped and cooked, and we're having fun. So my family traditions, I think I talked about this in my other one, was we are video gamers. So we're going to play video games, most likely, or watch movies, or... Alright, so I'm starting out. This pan has butter and sage sausage from Bob Evans, because it's my favorite of the selections. I'm having trouble breaking this up. Welcome! I thought I would get somebody with a brownie face. So, after I get the sausage cooked up, I'm going to then proceed to cook celery, carrots, onion, a mirepoix inside of this. I gotta get this all destroyed here. Alright. Back on the heat. Back on the heat. Well, let's see, what time is it today? I have been prepping since 9 probably 10:30 this morning. So, yeah, we're still, and to be honest, my coffee mug is still sitting right where I left it. I am really close to being finished for the night with this stuff, and then I have to go out and straighten up the portion of the living room that is more like the adult space. Right now, I think actually my kids are sprawled out in it, watching SpongeBob or something like that. Will's probably, I have no idea what they're doing. They were cleaning, and then they decided they didn't want to clean anymore. So pretty much, maybe in a little bit, I will get more motivation and start cleaning again. But again, like I did it to begin with. The kids have cleaned, not me. All right, we're getting there. I don't know why my pan wasn't sizzling. I cooled it down or something by washing it. I got so many things happening right now, so I have my pie is in here. I want to get this turned. That's why it's taking longer than the other than normal, because I'm doing it in a little toaster oven. I'm all appliances over here. My dough from when I first started, when we first began today, is just about ready for us to make into rolls. And then when that comes out, I'm going to bake rolls. I can also bake my rolls. It's crazy. This is my air fryer. It has like multiple shelves, and if you drop it to like the low shelf, it can bake. It just doesn't do a good job of darkening the bottom. So I'm going to actually bake my rolls. Becca, quit. Or, no, Zelda, stop. You can't go out there. You just want outside then? Okay. So I'm like super multitasking. Nobody's been here with me all night. I guess everybody else, just like me, is so busy that they do not have time to hang out. But I figured it can't hurt for me to do some videos. And I'm trying to just increase my viewership. I'm getting there a little at a time, and it can't hurt for me to continue. I was just making sure everything was going normal. Alright, so we're working on the dressing. I am using, so this version of dressing, I have made my own breadcrumbs before. I've done all of the ways. I like it both. When I like using my own bread, I like that because it kind of can hold its shape and consistency better. And like things like stovetop, and those have so much, they're so tiny, the little tiny breadcrumbs are so eensy weensy, it just makes sure it turned kind of mushy. But it is what I'm using because I want to. So I put a bunch of sausage, I'm doing all of this carrots and celery and onions into that pan after the sausage gets finished. And then I'm going to finish by making the dressing, or like adding all of the stovetop to it. And then I'm going to leave it. I debated in my head of just cooking the vegetables down and letting them just sit until tomorrow and finishing. But I have a lot of things to accomplish tomorrow. So I just decided that it would probably be better to get as much of the cooking accomplished tonight so that tomorrow I have no cooking or very low cooking, and I can just straighten things up, and then I have to go pick up my son and his girl after at about 3:30. So that's the plan. All right, my sausage is going away, or is cooking away. I 100% know that it needs a lot more time because of the way that it is not making any fat. These guys are just out to be in the way right now. I shouldn't even have them out here. Onion powder in here just for fun. Maybe a little garlic. That is like... Okay. So, what we got going here is green bean casserole, my dressing, everything for dressing. You might see. Yay, I did. I made sure to remember to buy poultry seasoning. I need that to put over my turkey, but I also want to add it to my vegetables and my dressing, and my gravy, sausage. I'm your words out, will work out fine. I'm just adding my seasonings right now to the onions, the celery and carrots, just so that when it's time to actually get cooking, I don't have to get to that. And I add a lot of onion powder. All right. Trying to think about how I'm gonna put my rolls on. I think I'm gonna use I'm like super multitasking right now. I'm trying to figure, I'm like an ADD mess. I got so many things happening right now. I have to make sure I don't forget my turkey. So I didn't set a timer irresponsibly. Luna! She barks at my parents every time they show up at the house. Come on, stop. Are you barking at kitties? Get in the house right now. Come. Luna, now. Come. What I got for you? Come. Leave the kitty alone. I can tell that you're bothering the kitty. Making some kitty scared out there. You scaring some kitty out there. There we go. Good girl. My dog Luna. Alright. Sausage. It's taking forever. It is 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Ah! Alright. Sausage almost done. Got pans here for making rolls. I don't want you to go out and bark at the kitties. All right. We are getting there. So the sausage is shuffling along. I'm gonna have to peel my slaves way up here because after I put my veggies in, we are going to start making, let's see, it's been an hour. Yep, so we're gonna start making rolls. And once I get these, or everything for my dressing into the pan, once I get my mirepoix and all my veggies, or all my seasonings poured in to the sausage, I'm going to start shaping my dough. So, and there's for my rolls. That's what we got going. All right. And then I've finished the green bean casserole. I've made a cheese log. Cranberry sauce. I'm doing mashed potatoes and gravy tomorrow. Oop, gravy. Never even thought about that. It's not even on my list. Good thing I'm smart and I remember the gravy. All right. So, get in there. We are getting there. Alright, I gotta check my pie again. The pie's starting to get a smell too, which means that it's getting close to done. Found an apron. Oh, my apron. I couldn't find my other oven mitt. It seems like I have multiple oven mitts are missing. And I need 2 hands for grabbing because I'm a wimp. It says it should still have, I feel like it's, oops. crust doesn't look like it's cooking on the edges. I mean, it looks like it's cooking. And this, I actually think that it says that it should have some jiggle. So, you guys tell me. Is that got a little jiggle? Or is it too much jiggle? I'm pretty sure that there's like a trick about 2 inches from the edge. If you poke it, not 100%, but I don't want to make a crater in it or a dent in it, or I just created a crack. I think I'm going to put it in. What's drawing me to want to put it in longer is that my crust is just not the right color yet. It looks like it's starting to get some color, but it doesn't have. Why am I having so much trouble? Anyways, my pan kept falling. Anyways, all right, almost. So in this pan is sage sausage. Luna, no. Now we're gonna add pretty much an entire massive pan of diced vegetables. I did these this morning in our in the morning live, which went better than this evening's live. And I kind of think that it's because it is the bar night of the year, and I'm here cooking alone. I didn't have enough fats in it. Things should get like a slight, be able to get the slight oily coating. Alright, so to cook the mirepoix, it takes a long time. So that's why I said I'm going laying my veggies out. Alright. Shut that door, you guys. The dog pushed the door open. Thank you. Sorry, the kids needed to. All right. So. It's lid. Because I just put a bunch of cold veggies in it. And now we are going to make a bunch of rolls. I have a ton of dough. I'm making rolls for Thanksgiving. All right, so I use an oily, I don't know how else to explain it, an oily hand method where you make sure your hand stays oily, and your dough, which I'm going to guesstimate right now about how much to split them into. And I'm thinking I'm going to just set one in the one pan, and then I'm going to slowly work out of this. And I'm going to give this a slight knead, because this just finished rising. So this was that dough. Oops, I just ripped it. That I made earlier. All right, I'm going to do the other half in a minute. And I am just doing plain rolls, so I'm not going to make anything fancy. I'm just going to do a roll. And the whole goal is if you start to get anything sticking, I'm actually going to drop a little bit of oil into the bowl that I'm working in. Because if your fingers become doughy, then you're in a disaster and you'll wish that you didn't. So oily fingers will keep you from having doughy hands, or mostly doughy hands. All right, roll to that one I dented with my finger as soon as I plopped it down. And I am no professional dough maker by any stretch of the imagination, but I do like to make rolls. So I do enjoy making scratch food, and I find it to be extremely enjoyable. I would say, like, I was a trad mom or wife before I knew what that was, before it existed. Like, I had always been one of those. So I work, I have guys work too, but I am a cook from scratch kind of girl, and that's just the kind of mom I am. So my kids are used to me doing things more from scratch than from that. I don't know how else to explain it, but I in general grew up a farm kid, so I would say that I grew up thinking that that was what you should do, and you should just be using the ingredients that you're getting. So that's kind of what I do. I'm just making little rolls. And these are not meant to be beautiful, but they are going to be delicious. So that's all that matters, is if they taste good. So I do not work to get a perfectly round roll. I don't put a lot of effort into making sure that they're like all cohesively the same size even. I've heard that if you flatten it and then give it a roll, that's a pretty good. So I've considered that of doing that today. I'm very curious, so we're gonna see if I flatten and then roll and then ball, if I can get some like nice airiness. Roll it up, and then I'm just pinching together the bottom to create a fake out ball. And then flatten, roll it up, tuck it in, and I gotta roll. All right, got a few of those I've already started, so I do the same. Kind of give it a press out, a tuck and roll, where it's like a little tiny loaf now. It would be cute. I guess I could leave them as little tiny loaves, but instead I already shaped half of them into balls. Well, not half, 5 into balls. So we'll keep them as balls. So flatten it, roll it up into my little ball or into my little loaf, and then turn it into a ball. Got one more that I've already rolled into a ball, and then loaf, and then tuck it and tuck and tuck. So I think my rolls are all going to definitely be touching. So because I have to do them in 2 small pans, because like I said, my actual oven is broken, and so I am doing my whole Thanksgiving dinner not in an oven. And I'm doing the whole dinner, so, and I'm not making a big deal about it. So pretty much the goal for the day is, or for my whole day, was to get a lot of my food prep done and then cleaning, and I procrastinated severely cleaning, so I didn't do any of that. Okay, I did my dishes. I didn't do any other stuff. So that's where I'm starting to get signs that my dough is sticking to my hands. You can see it's like slightly sticky, and it's just pretty much once that happens, there is no amount of oil that can prevent it from just sticking all over your hands, and you have to rewash your hands and start again. But I'm not doing that because it's not. That's the other half of the dough I got to deal with. Sounds like my stuff in my mirepoix for my dressing is starting to sizzle. That is too much dough. You could tell by the hand squeeze. Alright. So, flatten, roll. I'm being like extremely quick, and like I said, these are not meant to be perfect rolls. They're meant to be delicious, and that I don't care about how they actually look. So, pretty much. I just want the rolls accomplished, and then I'm going to sit them here, and when I pull out the pumpkin pie, which I still have a cherry pie to bake, and cheesecake. I'm feeling slightly overwhelmed. And the only reason I'm making a cheesecake is because I don't know if I've already mentioned this in this video. No, I don't think so. But tomorrow is my child number 4's 15th birthday. So she occasionally, her birthday is Thanksgiving, and this year it is. So she wants a cheesecake as her birthday cake. So I have everything sitting here to make my cheesecake also. But that's what she wants, and that's what I want to make for her. But I'm having some technical difficulties because I can't find my like springform pan. So I'm a little concerned that I don't have the right pan. So I thought like, well, then I'll do it in like a pie tin. I made pumpkin pie, and so I don't have another one. I broke one of my pie pans, so I only have one. And it has a delicious pumpkin pie baking currently at this minute. Looks like this. I only have part of this dough back. I want part of that one back. Alright. I wanted to be able to get 2 more rolls. I only had enough for 1. So I started looking where I could steal from. Alright. So make it a long tube. Roll it up. Told you I'm not making a perfect roll. I just want delicious rolls, especially because I have been cooking the whole day. And I'm just trying to get things accomplished now. So I'm not putting a ton of effort into making my rolls absolutely gorgeous. But I did make sure they had the right amount of flavor. And they are going to work out beautifully. I already seen them their first dries, and that went swimmingly. So okay, I gotta wash my hands. So I barely got any dough on me, And I didn't use flour to roll. I used oil. And that just seems to just work better. All right. Let's check my list. I should have made a big list so I could have like shown it and checked everything off, because that would have been more fun on my. I'll rinse my coffee mug too, because I normally don't wash my coffee mug until the morning when I'm going to use it, because sometimes the kids will steal my cup. I mean, it's like all personalized and everything. So you'd think they would just keep their freaking hands off it, but they don't. So I usually, like I said, I don't usually clean it before they use it. Or before the night. Because I'll wake up in the morning and my coffee cup will be gone and I will be all worked up that I don't got a coffee mug. I do have other coffee mugs. It's just not my coffee. I have a few of my favorites, and that's just the one I've been on the kick with lately. So go here. It's so much, so full, that I just have to be extremely patient, because they just do. All right. I know, little tiny pans. I just happen to own a bajillion little tiny pans. I even own the cutest, like, of that, really, like this guy. Ignore the difference in color, because this one is like stained black. I've had this for like 20 years, and it's just black, and it will not turn color anymore. But anyways, it's pretty much just like a copycat, but in like a really tiny version. I love it. So, I'm not using that. I got myself the prettiest 9x13 pan, because my 9x13 pan has like big rim on it, and I wanted to be able to fit my 9x13 into my toaster oven, or my little mini oven, and it just doesn't fit. So yeah, disappointing, because my one with the fins almost fits, but I bought one and it's got like a pretty little design on the bottom of it and everything. So I'm gonna leave these here to proof. I gotta grab a towel to toss on them. I was considering getting my little warming tray out for the fun of it, because I'm so excited for it tomorrow, and using it as a warming tray for proofing my veggie or my bread, but I'm not going to. Alright, covered. Alright, what do I have next? I feel like overwhelmed. Alright, I'm not doing turkey. I got my roll done. My cheese plate stuff's all cut up. Cheese balls, all my veggies are cut up. That one's cranberry cake. I'm going to make a glaze to put on it, but I want to take it out of the pan and put it in the cake pan and then put a glaze on it. My cranberry sauce is done. I just need a green bean casserole done. And I'm doing the dressing right now. So I guess I don't really have a whole lot more fun cooking for anyone to watch with me, and I really appreciate everyone that did stop in, even though hardly anybody did. I'm gonna touch all these buttons. Ooh, should have had that on from the beginning. That makes me look much better. So, thanks for coming, and I will talk to you next time. I'm gonna peek at least 1 minute and